Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Debs at Doodle-Creative. Today I'm going to be working on a project that I have been seeing all over YouTube. A lot of the very creative people that I follow myself are doing these, so I thought I would give them a go for my channel too. We're going to be making a riser. Now, if you haven't come across them, they are these. So just a little something that you can put onto your table just to create different heights. So you could put a plant on it, you can put your cupcakes on it, whatever you want. But it just creates a nice little vignette on your sideboard or on your dining table. I'm going to be using mostly recycled products, so I'm using a scaffold board, which is an offcut from something that we'd used in the shop, and some drawer knobs that came off of a previous chest of drawers that I've been working on. And then I am decoupaging the top with a Roycycled Treasures decoupage paper. Currently, I'm the only stockist in the UK. I've got over 40 different papers, I think it is, on my website and in my shop. So do take a look at those. There's some fantastic designs. Some of them are most of them, all of them are exclusive. Exclusive to Roycycled. So yeah, do check those out. And you get a really lovely wrinkle-free finish with these papers because of the weight of them, and it's all just down to a little bit of technique, and I will show you how to do that in the video. So do give it a go. If you're not subscribed already, I'd love you to subscribe to the channel. It helps me and the YouTube algorithm, whatever that is. But yeah, if you could do that and give us a thumbs up and comment, I will always answer. That would be great. So have a go at the project, enjoy, and let me know how you get on. All right, take care. Okay, so today we are working on a riser. Really basic decoupage for this project. So with pretty much all of my projects, I do prefer to give it a white base. It will make any paper that you're using pop, and all the details will then show up. If you were putting this paper, for instance, onto a dark base, then that's going to show through, because obviously the paper does go translucent when you put it onto decoupage medium. So the best thing to do is give it a white base. I've used Frenchic wedding cake in this particular instance. This is on a bit of old scaffold board. It's perfect for creating a riser, which you can then use on your sideboard or on a table, and it just gives you some different heights, just to create a really nice vignette for your home decor. So as I said, this has been painted, it's dry. You need to make sure it's dry before you start applying your decoupage paper. I'm using this Roycycled paper. As you can see, I've already used part of it for a project. So I just need to decide which part of the paper I want to use. I'm hoping this is going to be big enough here. Yeah, it is. Now, I don't want to keep the large expanse of paper, because when you actually come to apply it, the paper will stretch once it's wet with the decoupage medium that you use, and that will then maybe cause a pucker around the edge. So you want to reduce the amount of excess paper that you have for your project. So if you just lay it out, roughly work out where your edges are, and give yourself sort of ½ inch to 1 inch of excess. So this is absolutely perfect. Yep, that'll be perfect for that. So I'm just going to cut this bit here, just to give myself the excess that I need. There we go. So this can go away and be used for another project. Never throw any scraps away. It's always, you just never know when you're going to need them. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is apply my decoupage medium, and for this instance I'm using the Frenchic Tough Coat. You can use pretty much any sort of water-based varnish, decoupage glue, Mod Podge, you know, whatever you've got to hand. But yeah, my weapon of choice is either the Frenchic Tough Coat, or which is a matte finish, or the finishing coat, which has a slight sheen to it. Now when it comes to applying the paper, I prefer to work across in sections. So I will apply it, and you need to make sure that you are completely covering the area where you want the paper to go. The reason you'll get bubbles is if you've missed an area. So I usually sort of tilt my head to one side and just double check that I can see that there's glue or whatever medium you're using on the whole area. And then lay down from one side. Now at this stage you can use your cling film to help push that down. This is better than using your fingers, because you might sort of rip the paper if you're using your hands. It just gives you a bit easier contact. And then you can come back and apply the next section. Now I prefer not to start right up by the paper. Offload some of your medium slightly away and then come back in. That will prevent you getting a build-up of medium right next to the edge, and then you won't get that line of glue underneath your paper. So again, just do it in sections, lay it down and then work across. And you can be quite forceful when you're using the cling film. You can really sort of push the paper in. This wood has got a bit of texture, and obviously there's nooks and crannies where the wood is all gnarled. So it just enables you to really push it into all those, all the grain of the wood. Just keep going until you work your way across the whole area. So again, I'm working away first and then coming back in once I've offloaded my brush. And just make sure every part of it right up to the edge is completely covered. Now if you see here, it's slightly lifting. It's not, that's just telling me there's not enough medium there. So I'm coming back in there to get that. Now the last section, again away from the join, offload and then come back in. If you're quite methodical about how you apply the medium, you're less likely to miss anything. So you see here how it's puckering up, hopefully you can see that. If that happens, It's because the wet paper is stretching and this bit here is not so wet. So you can just spritz it lightly and that will help you stretch the paper and it helps it go down. That's a really good tip if you're working on slightly curved areas. Just give it a little spritz of water with a fine mister bottle. Just make sure there's more glue there. And that will just help you stretch that paper a little bit and help smooth it out. Okay. You can see back here in this corner again, it's not quite stuck down, so I'm just going to spritz that again. Make sure there's enough glue up to the edge. And then push that back down. When you're spritzing, do be careful that it's not getting too wet, because obviously it is paper at the end of the day, and if it's very wet then it's more likely to tear. Okay. So once you're completely covered, your area's completely down right to the edges, then you can come back over with your decoupage medium and completely cover the area. So this will be your first coat. You'll get this completely dry, and then it's always worth doing a second coat just to ensure that it's completely protected. Now it may well bubble back up when you apply this top coat. Don't worry, the decoupage papers from Roycycled are fabulous. They're £18 weight and they're really suited for this sort of project. So they will dry out and all the wrinkles will miraculously disappear. You do need to make sure though that you have applied whatever medium you're using on the whole area, because if you miss any, then that is where you'll get a bubble. Okay, and again, just make sure you're going right to the edge. Okay, and I can see there's a bit of a bubble there, and that is just because the wood is slightly uneven. So I'm just going to dab that down and go back over. Perfect. So we'll get that dry and then I'll show you what the next step is. Right, so once it's completely dry, do not do this when it's wet because you are very likely to rip your paper. Once it's completely dry, then you come in with your sandpaper and you work in a downward and away motion. So we're going to go at a 90-degree angle and just down and away. To remove the paper, and just keep going until that's done. Okay. Doing that, you then get a really nice finish. If you were working up and down, then you're more likely to lift the paper away from the edge, which is not something that you really want to do. So we just keep going until all of those edges are nice and clean. This is just a 180. You can use sort of anything above 160, I would recommend. If you do something that's a bit more gritty, then again you're more likely to either damage the wood or the paper. A little bit there, so you can see there, that bit to be very careful with because there's a slight tear there. I'm going to rub that, and that's it, and we'll come back in with that and stick that down. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. So I'm just going to show you what happens when you have got a lift. So you see here, it's slightly lifted. So just get the edge of your brush, you don't need too much product, and just come in and just run it along that edge. Just so that the bristles are just going underneath that edge. That bit there is even more. It's very easy to miss putting product down. Okay, and then with your cling film, just gently push that back down. Okay, and again you can run back over that just to make sure it's completely sealed. So we'll just continue working on that all the way round until that is completely finished. Okay, did you see that? I'll stop there. I went like that and it's ripped it across. So you have to be really careful. Down and away. I'm just going to try and cut that now, just so that I don't rip it even more. I'll come back in and seal that in a second. So again, with my Frenchic tough coat, I'm now going to come in. You can see all of that section there just needs a bit extra. And this bit that's rich, it can be very easily disguised. The beauty of decoupage is also that you can layer it up if you want to, and you can use this as a base for other products. So for instance, if you wanted to do some stamping on here, or layer the Iron Orchid design transfers on top, anything's possible. So just go in, check all of your edges. I can see I've got a few here that need a little bit of extra attention. Just lay them back down. The whole point with decoupage is that you want it to almost look hand painted and not like you've stuck something to your project. So the more wrinkle free you can make it, and the less plonked, then the better. So getting all of these edges down will certainly help with that task. So just keep going until you're happy. Now, obviously, I've used the hairdryer to dry this out. If you can leave it to dry naturally, I always think that's better. But obviously, when I'm in the studio, I like to speed things up so it's not too boring. Right, so I'm just giving this the final coat. This will be used on a tabletop. it's not, I wouldn't say it was food safe, so I would obviously put like a plate with cupcakes on it rather than putting the cupcakes directly onto the riser. But you can certainly use it in the kitchens or on a dining table, no problem at all. Right, so what I'm going to do is leave that to completely dry, and then I'm going to come back in, and what I'm actually going to do is attach some old drawer knobs that I've kept in my stash, and these will go onto the base and become feet. Okay, and then I'll probably paint the edge of this just to finish that off and make that look a little bit more appealing. And there you are, that will be a little riser that I can then stand things on. Okay, so I'll come and show you what that's like when that's all done and dusted. So there we are, it's all dry, no wrinkles. Wish I could work the same miracles on my own skin, that would be amazing. Right, so we're now ready to put the feet on to our riser, and as I said, we're going to use these old drawer knobs that I've had lying about. I am just going to be using the Titebond Quick Thick glue, which is a multi-surface glue. If I was going to be using this in a sort of, I don't know, in a more aggressive manner, then I would probably try and screw them, put some screws into the base and screw them into the base of the riser. But you know, this is going to be gently placed down onto a worktop somewhere, so I don't think I really need to go to that extent. So I just now need to work out where they're going to go. I am just going to make sure there's a reasonable amount of glue on the bottom of these. And I'm just going to put them into the corner and just press lightly just to hold them in place. Now, I know my husband, Martin, would be measuring these out very precisely to make sure that they're all very equal in from the edge, but hey, I'm not like that. I just wing it. Just do it by eye. Make sure they're pressed firmly down. If you've got any excess glue, just wipe that up as you go. Turn it that way. Let's go in just a little bit. Okay, press firmly down. Make sure there's good contact. And you're going to want to let this go off and dry a bit before you turn it over. I mean, I would give it a good few minutes just to start to make some contact, and then turn it over and let gravity help, because obviously any weight onto these feet will help them sort of actually adhere. But you can see that one already is already gripping, so that's great. Move that one in slightly. Okay. You can buy feet. If you know, when you're making your own risers, you can buy little corner metal ones. There's plenty out there, and actually the metal feet, what I will do, I've had some of those before, and I will link them on my Amazon shop, which is Doodle-Creative. So I'll link them so that you can have a look at them, and then if you want them, you can get them through that. I can feel that actually these are attaching already, So I'm just going to turn that over, turn it around that way, and just place that down, just so that gravity will help. Now I'm not on an even surface, so I've got a bit of a rock. That's better. Okay, so you can see the idea of the project. I am going to finish this off by painting the edge. I think I'll do that white, maybe black, I'll decide. And you could do some edging detailing, you could do some stamping. As I said, you could put some IOD transfers on top. Really, the choice is yours. There are so many different options. I've got something like 40 different decoupage papers on my website if you wanted to have a look at those, and they're all 20 inches by 30 inches, so you can get a lot of projects out of them. Fantastic, just to give yourself a bit of one-off home decor for your own home, or if you've got a booth or a shop, then obviously this is something that you can make and sell. Give it a go. All the products, including the Tough Coat, it's all on my website, doodle-co.uk. If you've enjoyed the project, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It all helps with the lovely YouTube algorithm. And yeah, give it a go, and please do let me know how you get on and what your project turns out like. Have fun.